Hi everyone, I'm Dash Galaxy from the forums at Colossal Kaiju Combat, and I'm going to introduce a few of the different kinds of cards in the trading card game, namely the team cards. Well everybody, drink it in. These are what the team cards look like. Here I have 6 of them, although there are several more out there and circulating in the world. This is not all I got, but it does happen to be all that fit on the top of my small chessboard. So this is what I'm going to show you for today. I've lined up 3 different team cards side by side for your viewing pleasure, so that you can take a very close look at what each of the cards' stats are and how these cards compare to each other. First stat to look at here is Team Initiative. Team Initiative just means that at the start of each new round of combat, the player with a higher team initiative gets to make the first attack. After that, you're trading blow for blow. You'll be defending, then they'll be attacking, and then you'll be attacking, and they'll be defending, and so forth and so on until combat ends. The second stat you'll probably notice is the planning draw. That's just how many cards you can draw from your planning deck into your hand at each planning phase. Basically, it means you can have a maximum of this many cards in your hand. The last of these magic 3 stats is Team Fury. If you have a low Team Fury, that's actually better than a high Team Fury, because Team Fury means you need to take damage that number of times to unleash a strong Fury attack affecting the enemy team. Finally, you'll see anywhere between 1 and 3 of these little green shields on each of your team cards. If your team card has 2, in this case, you add that to the fortitude or health of your monster card. So to defeat that monster, you would need to deal their base damage plus their team damage. In addition to that, every team also has special rules that apply to them. You can see some of them, or a little snippet of them right here. On the back of the team cards, you're going to get a little bit of flavor text. And then in the yellow text at the bottom of the cards, you'll see the rules for team composition. That means this is how you build your team with these cards. This prevents the teams from being too overpowered or too weak. You gotta follow these rules and you can come up with some really interesting teams. So you'll see this one here, Malefic Mutations. You can select up to 5 mutant characters, which gives you quite a choice as to which characters you're going to use at the beginning of each new round, compared to, say, this one over here, where you only get to choose 3 kaiju with 6+ ferocity each, and a total fortitude of no more than 15. Then this one here, you can choose 4 demon, cyborg, mineral, vegetable, or mech characters. Those words in capitals can be found on the back of SPN 4 and 5 cards. And that would look like this. This little red strip on the back of this character's card tells you that it is aquatic and a mutant. So it would work, for example, this card right here. On older SPN 1 and 2 character cards, or monster cards, there is no red strip. You need to go onto Colossal Kaiju Combat Wiki to find that information in a chart online. I'll make that available in the description, so it's pretty easy to use. But keep in mind that you can still use your monster's stats to build a team for cards like this one here that depend on your ferocity and fortitude, and this one here which depends on your fortitude entirely. Finally, a little word about strategy and team building. Actually, this game is really exciting because it has a lot of opportunities for building unique and interesting teams and creating very compelling strategies around those teams. Let's take, for example, Team 47 right here. This team has these rules here. If an inactive kaiju refuses your challenge, your active character gains 2 ferocity and may immediately attack that team's active character. This very dramatically changes the game, because usually it's pretty much a given that a kaiju is going to reject your challenge. But in this case, it really switches it up a little bit and makes things a little bit more interesting. Allows you to also, this is just a really strong card with +3 to your fortitude as well. And the team composition rules don't depend on any kind of alignments, but only that your kaiju has exactly 4 fortitude, which there are a lot of kaiju with that. If you want to get into the game, the easiest way to do it is to pick up one of the 4 different team starter decks that's got everything you need to get started with the game today. If you get one buddy to do the same, then you can play right away. If you want to get into the strategy of building your own decks, you can still start with the starter decks to get the feel for the rules and the way the game is played, and then from there you buy some boosters and start customizing a little bit. And one last thing I want to do is show you exactly how I might build a team right here. So for this card, Team Morrow, I need to select 3 kaiju with 6+ ferocity each and total fortitude of no more than 15. Well, what I've done is I've gone through my kaiju cards and picked out several that have more than 6 ferocity. So I've got a lot of choices, but I'm gonna show you, I've separated them into a couple different piles here. First of all, I want to take a look at Rugadora, because obviously he's an amazing kaiju. He's got full ferocity, he's got like a ton of agility, his power is nothing to cough at, and his fortitude's pretty good too. But he's got a major catch which makes him not viable for Team Morrow, and that is his power. Immune to knockdowns, great, but may not attack other kaiju, meaning that he's useless for Team Morrow because you get -1 glory every time you attack a building or a structure, and you're always encouraged to get +1 glory to attack or challenge kaiju. Another great place to look for high stat characters is the Evo cards. Here we have Phyrodon. He fits well into this kind of mold that we're talking about for our Team Morrow characters, and we also have Tyrantosaur, Warmadillo, and a few others. Oh, somehow Brutusk and Wesilosaurus are on the bottom. And then over here, this is the team I've actually decided on. Here I have Bubbles, this is Evo Bubbles, Mijin, and Kakrusis. Quick word about the powers of the kaiju that I've chosen. +0 damage at the start of combat, increases by +1 after each attack. This is incredibly powerful because sometimes combats can go on for a while, so if you're doing +3, +4 damage for an attack late in combat, you're going to have the finishing blow. Over here, this is a great counter to actually that Evo Bubbles, in that whenever an opposing team's kaiju gains a stat bonus, Mijin gains an identical bonus. So he would also have his damage go up if you're going against Evo Bubbles. Now this is an example of a power that does not work with the current rules of the game, unfortunately. SPN 1, 2, and 3 can have rules that are sometimes incompatible with this current version of the game because they're a holdover from an old version of the game. So keep that in mind. Most of the time, you can make something work. Like this is an SPN 2 character with a power that still makes sense in the current rules of the game. And here's another SPN 2 character with a power that still is very simple and makes perfect sense with the rules of the game.